You are not a racist and you are not a fascist. You are just trying to protect the integrity of the British Isles. You are trying to protect your identity as a native British person. And you are trying to protect your children's future. Please follow, like and share and comment. Now today I just want to talk a little bit about Brexit as it has come up in conversation. Brexit. We all remember Brexit, don't we? Brexit. But Brexit was a time when the then Conservative government took a gamble, thought that they were going to win, and that the British public were not going to vote to come out of Europe. Well, I can tell you now, back then, the Conservatives were not centre-right. They were fully left. Oh yes, of course they were. They were fully left, fully on board with the EU project, fully against a Brexit. But their gamble did not pay off. In fact, one of their own, who had been sacked as a foreign minister, one Boris Johnson, he jumped ship, if you remember rightly, to help UKIP promote the UK coming out of the EU. So, Farage was in charge of the UKIP, and Boris jumped ship to join the UKIP marketing campaign. They went on to successfully market Brexit and to come out of the EU. Now, the reason for Brexit really came up because most people, native British, were sick and tired of the immigration policies and the freedom of movement within the EU, but also the EU laws, whereupon we were governed by the centralist, leftist EU. That is a fact. You don't like that, leftists? You traitorous scum? You are traitors, you understand that, right? The EU is a leftist organisation that wants multiculturalism, wants to see colonialism happen in the UK, wants to see native populations displaced and assimilated. Traitorous scum, you leftists are. I'm sorry, I have to tell the truth. You are traitors through and through. If you don't like that, then change. Be a patriot to your nation. Join the nationalist movement of native British people on native British Isles lands. Okay? It's as simple as that. Move across from the left to the right. Okay? Now, I just want to talk about Boris Johnson quickly. Boris Johnson jumped ship as a failed foreign minister. He got sacked as a foreign minister. Okay? He helped, and the people on the right wingers, believed that Boris was a right-wing native man. They believed him. How foolish I believed him. How foolish was I and everyone else to believe him. Boris was after himself, looking after himself. Once, of course, Brexit became a thing, then David Cameron stood down. What were they to do? Well, after a lot of fuss and bother, Boris just waited in the wing, And when his time came, there he was. What other choice did we have? Boris Johnson, the failed foreign minister, became prime minister. And after that, everybody saw what he was, a failure. And he got the sack, basically. So Brexit highlighted a multitude of things. It highlighted that what we thought was centre-right was in fact left-wing. We thought that the people on the centre-right were right-wing. We were wrong. They were left-wing. And yes, some of you, I believe, some of you out there see that the now new emerging party of the UK, Farage's Reform, I think you believe that there are many conservative candidates within that party, and you could be right. And you also could be right that they're going to be useless. And I think there's a possibility they are leftists in disguise as rightists. Maybe. Because we can always look at parties like UKIP, which are still a party. They certainly are right-wing. So, Brexit fundamentally was because of immigration. To come away from European laws, to stop being governed by the centralist leftist organisation of the EU. What we failed to do is become more nationalistic, to embrace nationalism. We failed to rebuild the UK with that as a foundation, with native British people as a foundation, with the right wing nowhere to be seen. It was the leftists still in power once Brexit began. It was the leftists who have driven our country into ruin. It is the leftists who are traitors to our native lands. Brexit, yes, has not been successfully driven forward. But it was because of the left, fundamentally. Please follow, like, and share. You are welcome to comment below, leftist traitors. Bye-bye.